Okay, we'll get a little bit into this. I don't know how much time we'll have, but we want to copyright a game show and play a little game here called Deal or No Deal Structure. And so in my mind, think about your business as it currently stands. Before we even consider whether your overhead type expenses are commensurate with your size and your situation, what about your deal structure? Do we have a business model that works, a deal structure that works at your recovery rate? And so before we jump in, let me just disclaim, these are general examples. Everybody's market and approach is different. We can't possibly, consider every variable or dollar. But I just want to get our mind going and talk about some pros and cons of different deal structures. So you see some of our disclaimers there on screen. So let's jump right in. We're going to start on the left side of the screen. I'm not a marketing specialist, so this is kind of dry, but let's work through it here. So chat and audience, I'm going to cue you up here as we go. So first up, on the left side of the screen, we've got a $10,000 ACV, agreed upon selling price $15,000, $1,250 down, residual of $4,200, customer payment $451 net of sales tax, lender payment that amortizes with the loan of $323. And so I guess Chad or anyone else, what are we seeing in here? Do we like this deal or do we not? And let me mention one more thing. At the bottom there, we have assumed deal metrics. What are you recovering at? What's your recovery in excess of your cash-in deal? How much principal are you recovering in excess of your risk on the street? And then your spread between what you're receiving from the customer and what you're paying your lender. So deal or no deal, what are we seeing?
Audience first. So what do you guys see here? 75% collateral recovery rate. They collected $2,000 more in principal in excess of their cash-in deal, and they have a $129 spread right now between this customer's payment and the lender. Is this something you guys would put on the street? Not all at once. Kelly, deal or no deal? Anybody else disagree? Second the deal.
Second the deal.
Sold. Yes, Tim. Oh, you second. I thought that came from me. I didn't hear. I think we would all do this all day long. The spread maybe a little low, but doable. I wouldn't mind seeing that a little higher. But 75% collateral recovery rate, I think I'd take that all day long on this. Any questions? Did we miss something?
Okay, let's look at the next one on the right side of the screen. So this one is almost the same selling price, $14,000, but it's call it $7,500 all-in ACV. So we got a steep markup. Similar residual value as a percent, same down payment, and then our monthly pay is just slightly lower because the selling price is slightly lower. So the deal metrics for this one work out to be a much lower recovery rate, 50%, $750 CRR in excess of the cash-in deal, but a spread of $177. What do we think, guys?
I think Rick Reeves says no, based on that face. Making some good money, though, on the spread. We can pay our bills.
For how long?
Huh? No, I think the key here, yes, is the collateral recovery, right? You're putting some fake money on the road. You're kidding yourself. You've probably grossed up, or your selling price too high. So I think you're missing out on some competitive advantage on your selling price, but you're just not collecting it.
That collateral recovery rate, is that recycled to get towards that second option?
It is assuming I don't know what we have our.
Either, it doesn't matter. Your
Okay.
recovery ACV will be what it'll be, whether you put it back in at, your fair market or you liquidate it for actual value.
No, the market value of the car at the time is how we would have done
It's
it.
essentially measuring what percentage of every dollar amount financed you collect in the end, so.
Yes.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
just the value at the end, yes. So this isn't a recovery rate. Yeah.
Total principal collected rate. So, if this was a 70-cent CRR, 70% recovery rate, this might be a different story, right? Significantly different story.
Yes, sir. No, so if we were to sell this car, I'm looking at the thing, it's roughly amount financed is $13,000, let's just say. Or for simple terms, let's just say we had an amount financed of $10,000, and we collect $4,000 of payments from the customer.
Principal.
And the car had a $3,500 wholesale value at the end of it, or market value. We collected $7,500 out of that 10. We get to a 75% collateral recovery rate. That's what that is measuring. It's not measuring interest you collected, that kind of money. It's strictly on the principal, or principal equivalent for a lease. Say that again.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, it's really looking at getting a balance between your advance rate with your lender and the collateral recovery rate. I think if your collateral recovery rate was continuously under 50% and you were doing buy here, pay here on the, so you had those receivables and you were being advanced 60, but your collateral recovery rate 50, you're not going to have that lender for too long.
It's a broken model.
Huh?
That's a broken model.
It's a broken
That's not going to
model
work.
at that point. So it's a little different with the way, some lenders, might lend on the car or whatever, but it's just understanding that, how to pull the different levers to, in some way you can, I don't want to say you can manufacture CRR, but you can make it look really out of whack by having such a 100% markup versus maybe a 70% markup. Obviously extending a customer in the car and keeping them in longer, you collect more, raises your CRR. So it's just understanding how the different levers you can pull raises those numbers and those metrics that your banks want to see, or maybe new banks that you're trying to get financing with want to see.